This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Wednesday, November 9. In Squiz Kids Today, the misinformation midterms, cycling across Antarctica, Black Panther returns, and the world's smallest pony. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
In the wee small hours of last night, and for a good part of today, voters in the United States have been trooping off to the polls to vote on who they want to represent them in Washington. They're called the midterm elections, and they're a big deal. The United States is one of the biggest democracies in the world, and so elections there should be a celebration of the people's voice being heard. But a cloud has descended on this year's midterms, with concerns about misinformation running at an all-time high. Americans heading to the polls to cast their votes have been bombarded with fake text messages urging them to stay at home, social media posts making wild and untrue claims about ballot box fraud, and online rumours about the voting system being rigged, none of which are true. Yesterday, former employees of Twitter said misinformation was being allowed to spread unchecked on the popular social media platform after the company's new owner, Tesla billionaire and the world's richest man Elon Musk, sacked a whole lot of Twitter employees. So what's misinformation? Well, if you've already dived into Newshounds, our new free media literacy course for primary school kids, you'd know that it's information that is not true, but which is nevertheless shared widely by people like you and me, who take what they read at face value and don't take the time to check whether it's true. Squizzy the Newshound, who we always check in with on Wednesdays, and who sniffs out fishy stories on the internet and who is always reminding us to stop, think and check before believing everything we see, read or hear on the internet, reckons the US midterm elections are going to set a new and not especially great benchmark for misinformation. Which is why there's never been a more important time to be a critical consumer of media. Teachers, if you haven't yet had a chance to check out Newshounds, hop onto our website squizkids.com.au and dive on in. It's completely free, and in 8 short episodes, your class will go from sitting ducks in the misinformation wars to armed and dangerous. Parents, if you're worried about the fake news your kids are being exposed to on a daily basis, this is the perfect tool to make them media literate. Urge your kids' teachers to get involved. I've stuck all the links and information you need in today's episode notes.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Antarctica, where a man from Italy is going to attempt to cross the frozen continent on his bike. Next week, Omar de Felice will set off on his bike from one side of Antarctica and attempt to be the first person ever to cycle coast to coast. It's a journey that's expected to take him 60 days, covering an impressive 2,000 kilometres, passing the South Pole along the way. Now, you're probably thinking, but hang on a minute, Antarctica is mostly snow. How do you ride a bike on snow? Well, that's where what's called fat bikes come in. No, they're not bikes that have had a bit too much to eat. They're normal bikes with extra fat tyres. And they work well on loose dirt, sand, and it seems even snow. The Italian adventurer will camp in snow along the way and will drag along behind his bike a sled carrying his tent, supplies, and lots of warm clothing. Brrr.
Pop Culture Corner.
Crack out the popcorn, peel the wrapper off your choc tops, people. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, opens in cinemas across the country tomorrow, and it's shaping up to be one of the biggest movie releases of the year. The second installment in the Marvel superhero series also opens in cinemas around the world tomorrow, and already in the United States, advance ticket sales suggest the movie could break all sorts of box office records. When the first Black Panther movie came out in 2018, so 4 years ago, it was the biggest film in the US that year and went on to make more than $1.3 billion worldwide. Keep an eye out in this new movie for a character called Ironheart. She's a new super genius inventor in the Marvel Universe. She's going to be introduced in the world of Wakanda, but will soon have her very own spin-off show. Stick with me, kids. I'll make sure you stay in the know.
Animal Kingdom.
Now, we couldn't let this week slip by without bringing you a story that's been doing the rounds about what the Guinness Book of World Records thinks could be the smallest pony on the planet. Putting aside for a minute My Little Ponies, because I hate to break it to you, but they're not real, Little Pumuckle, the Shetland pony, is a serious contender for the world's teeniest horse, measuring only 50 centimetres in height and weighing in a truly petite 35 kilos. Shetland ponies, as you might know, are already really small, but Pumuckle is small even for a Shetland. So small that she sits in the front seat of her owner's car when they go driving and totters into the kitchen to eat her dinner. And yes, of course, because it's a Wednesday and a hump day, there's a link to video of Pumuckle in today's episode notes. You're very welcome.
Time for the Squiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. Across which icy continent is an Italian cyclist hoping to ride? Yeah, that's right, it's Antarctica. Question number 2. What type of a pony is Pumuckle? Yeah, well done. She's a Shetland pony. Question number 3. What's the name in the title of the movie of the make-believe land where Black Panther 2 is set? Yeah, the fictional land is called Wakanda.
Shout-outs.
It's November 9, birthday for singer-songwriter Delta Goodrem. It's also only 45 days until Christmas. And today is Fried Chicken Sandwich Day in the United States. Fried chicken. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Mia from Lake Bolak, Georgia from Druin, Harvey from Ivanhoe, Kai from Bega, Rosie from Dulwich Hill, Aurelia from Sunbury, Rock from Preston, Arnav from Hornsby, and Ruby and Eleanor from Western Sydney. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Aeon from Bega, Summer from Gladstone, and Penelope from Mount Cotton. And classroom shout-outs today go to Class 3-4W at Exeter Public School, Stage 2 with Mrs Hart and Miss B at St Joseph's Primary School in Junee, Class 3MK and Miss Kulak at Newport Public School, Grade 6 and Miss Strachan at Croydon Park Public School, Year 4 and Miss Schwartz at Maitland Lutheran School, and finally to Class 4-5 Yellow at St Patrick's Primary School in Bega, and a happy birthday to their teacher Mr Broughton for yesterday. And finally, a special shout-out to Ruby from Curl, who listens to Squiz Kids most mornings in the car with her mum. Hope you have a great day, Ruby. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.